Greetings. Today we'll be going over the Albert Pike letter to Mazzini. The cause of this demonstration is because I heard a man named Rod Hayes who was on Young Elder platform, and he was making false statements in regards to Albert Pike, saying that he was rolling out the plan of white supremacy, but he was stating that it was within the morals and dogma. But he really meant this right here, the Albert Pike letter to Mazzini. If you are going to attack a man's reputation, at least make sure that the documentation source that you are giving is correct, which shows that he is not studying the morals and dogma or this letter, because he would have been able to distinguish one from the other. Now, we're not going to go through the entire letter. Everyone has seen it. I'm just going to point out the most important part. But before I do, we can listen to the clip so that you can hear his error. And let's just hope that they have scholarly respect and don't strike the channel for copyright or whatever.
The white supremacy marching orders, or the rollout of it, is called Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike.
Now, on this Young Elders platform, he has extensive studies of a man named Malachi Z. York-El. Now, as far as what happened with him, I was not there, so I don't know what happened. All I know is that Malachi Z. York-El, he went to trial, and it became a mistrial because they couldn't make a decision, which proves that they didn't have evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. However, they recharged him, which I feel is double jeopardy. I feel once it was a mistrial, it should have been stopped. However, they charged him again, and he eventually pled guilty. The reason I'm bringing up Malachi Z. York-El is because on Young Elders platform, where he made this statement, Rod Hayes, about Albert Pike, they have extensive videos of Malachi. And Rod Hayes says that that's where a lot of his studies come from. But on Young Elders' very platform, he has a statement from Malachi in a video where he specifically states that Albert Pike and Madame Blavatsky went to London and learned from the Moors. They learned degrees from the Moors. So if a man was a white supremacist bigot, would he sit down and learn from a man who was melanated? I think not. And Malachi Z. York-El specifically says the Moors told him, now don't you go out there and start making no messes. So you know if Albert Pike was causing messes, those Moors had long reach, and they would have sent somebody to stop that indeed. Malachi Z. York-El then goes on to state that they became some of the ones in the highest statuses in the European class, which is one of the reasons why he stopped calling himself the white status and went to Scottish. So let's get to this letter. The museum claims that it doesn't exist. However, let's just assume that he wrote this. You know, the letter's spot on in regards to Israel and Palestine and all that. But the main goal of this whole letter will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, finally out in the public view. But we know in regards to Lucifer, that is the morning star. In regards to Venus, the green five-pointed star that's on the Moorish flag, the red flag with the green star, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The same flag that hangs on Young Elders' wall. In this letter, it speaks about the abolishing of Christianity and pitting the so-called Jews and the Muslim Arab world. But that's not the Moors, because the Moors hold the true religion of Islamism, the old-time religion. As far as Mufti Muhammad Sadiq, you know, they changed from being Muslim to Muslim. They said that they are a reformed Islam, which means they changed it and tried to perfect it. That's why Noble Drew Ali came and said he is a universal prophet, just like this says, through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine, because the pure doctrine was hidden from the world, from the outside world, until Noble Drew Ali brought it in 1927 to the Muslims of America. If you look at the top, you can see where Albert Pike stated Muslim Arab world, and now in these days they call themselves Muslim. You know, I know about the Salam or the man of Salam, but why did they change it up? Because they wanted to distinguish themselves from Muslim, because the Moors is who still call themselves Muslims to this day and hold and are the custodians of the true Egyptian mystery systems. In regards to morals and dogma Albert Pike has within the morals and dogma, if he would have studied it, he would see that he has the 7 or the circle 7 within morals and dogma. And he specifically tells you it's the yod, and it was changed from the 7 or the Hebrew letter to the G that's on the Mason's compass and square. He let you know publicly, so he didn't try to hide it, because that 7 to the modern Jews of today, they speak of the finger of God that wrote their law, and that is the Yod, the Tahuti. Even Malachi Z. York-El speaks of Moses going up on Mount Sinai and coming in contact with Tahuti, and he said, may I have a portion of your law so I can set my people in order. And he used his finger. That's why Tahuti, if you look, he has the beak, because it looks like the 7, and that's what Noble Drew Ali has, is the Yod or the 7, which Albert Pike specifically says it was the Yod or the Yod, which is the 7, that was originally on the compass and square, when they apparently learned from the Moors, or when he did. And here's another thing I want to return about the white supremacy. Albert Pike knew that the caste system, and Rod Hayes spoke about the white and black caste system. He knew about it, and he knew both sides was a trick. That's why he went to Scottish. I have the proof right here on the channel that the South was demanding independence and nationality. As soon as Judge Taney put out the ruling a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect, he knew it was a trick. In regards to joining the know-nothings, which is on here, they state that nationality is the sole purpose for their order. And also they make an affirmation not to let any Roman Catholics into any government offices. It's also recorded that Albert Pike fought with the Cherokee, which are really the Moors, and they was fighting against the United States, who was trying to support their institutions on slavery and inequality. It's a fact. It's on here too. So when I hear people saying bad things about my bloodline, I'm going to respond. And if my ancestors are right, I'm going to defend them. And if there's points where they're wrong, they're not going to pass. Noble Drew Ali specifically said, Italians are hot-headed because they have the mixture of the Moors in them. Did not Mazzini have Moorish blood in them? So you can't always just blame the European, because your own brother will put you back into slavery. That's what Noble Drew Ali said. So if Albert Pike did write this letter to Italy to Mazzini, if it was sent to Italy, because they say it's held in London in the museum, and if Albert Pike went to London, why wouldn't he go ahead and just get up with Mazzini personally if he was going back and forth to so-called London, Canaan land, Cuba, all these places? Why didn't he just go meet with them personal and sit down and build? The audio of Malachi Z. York-El stating Albert Pike and Madame Blavatsky went to London and learned degrees specifically from the Moors is on here. It's on Young Elders platform where Rod Hayes was speaking all this too. So if you're going to attack someone's reputation, make sure you have your facts straight. They have all that adept information over there. So I know they have the information to be adepts, but you can't cause confusion by putting falsehood and truth together strangely mixed. You got to pick and pull and get them scabs off of that truth, man. He specifically said morals and dogma when he meant this letter. He made a huge error right there. He's supposed to be a master teacher adept that all these Asiatics are watching every time he come out. And he's making simple errors like that. So he was not in the spirit when he was speaking. And if he made that small error, what other errors has he made? I leave you in peace and love. Islam, Islam, Islam. Shalom, shalom, shalom.